So Sin Drama Mama, good name. They say, what about how to know if your title is good? My book is about emotions and it's a tale for kids. The title is A Secret Garden of Emotions. It's about an adventure in magic garden with mystic animals. Helps her overcome her fear with the EFT method. Very simple and fun way. How to know if the title is not good or if it's the cover the problem? That's actually a really good question. And it's actually very, very simple. So we need to figure out what makes a good title. So what's actually the purpose of a title? Is the title what's actually going to sell your book? Probably not, because Amazon is separated into two sections. First, it's someone looking at your book, and then it's someone actually buying your book. So this is a discovery phase, which basically means your book showing up in the search results. So if someone types in something related to your book, the first thing they're going to see is your book in the search results. If it's in the search results, then the whole point of it is to get the click, because as soon as they get the click, then they go into the buying phase. They're one step closer to buying your book, which means they're on the book listing page. Now, your book listing's responsibility is to get them to actually buy, make the sale, to actually purchase, to convert. Now, since you have either you're in the search results or they're looking at your book listing, then you need to ask yourself, your book title, when can they see it? Can they see it after they clicked on your book or before they click on your book? Well, your book title actually shows in the search results. Not the whole title if it's very long, but it still shows up in the search results. So the purpose of your title is to get them to click on your book. You can also argue that the purpose of your title is to actually convert, to get someone to buy your book, but it's way more powerful to get the click than it is to get the sale. Because I don't know when the last time it was that you bought a book purely based on the title, without looking at the description or an interior or the reviews or everything else. But I can think of many, many times that I actually clicked on a book just because of the title. I want to show you why as well. I want to show you practical titles that you can implement. So how do you know if it's actually a good title? Well, having a good title is basically like meeting your girlfriend's parents for the first time. You're going to meet her dad, you're going to meet her mom, maybe you meet her little brother or her bigger brother, and then your responsibility is to impress them, or at least have a good connection with them, or for them to say, hey, you know what, yeah, this guy might not be a total idiot. Maybe he's all right for my daughter. That's what you want the dad to say anyway. So you were trying to keep a bunch of family members happy. Not only your girlfriend happy, for her to be like, oh, you know what, they had a good connection with my family, blah, blah, blah. You're trying to keep the family happy, saying, oh yeah, even though he's doing all the things he's doing with my daughter, it's okay because he seems like a good guy. So you're trying to balance those two to get them, both of them to like you, if that makes sense. Now, when it comes to Amazon, how does that actually help us? Does that even have anything to do with Amazon? Of course it does. Because with Amazon, again, you have to balance two things. First of all, you have to balance Amazon. You have to get Amazon to actually like it. So the book title has to be targeted towards Amazon. But the book title also has to be targeted towards your customer, because that's the person buying it. This is the person promoting your book, and this is the person actually buying your book. You need to please both of them using your title if you want your book to be really, really successful. And how do you actually do that? Well, it's super, super simple. For Amazon, what they're looking at is CTR, which basically means click-through rate. The percentage of people that click on your book after looking at it, after seeing it in the search results. So click-through rate. Now, what determines your click-through rate? Well, if 100 people see your book and 90 people actually click on your book, and you compare that to 100 people looking at your book and 5 of them clicking on it, what does that say? What does that tell you about your click-through rate? Which one has a higher click-through rate? Obviously this one, because 90% of the people actually clicked on your book. Obviously 90% is an unrealistic number. I'm just trying to show you the meaning of click-through rate. But this one, only 5% clicked on it. So what does this say? This means that Amazon can just look at the click-through rate, and then it will understand the relevance of your book, how relevant your book is, or in this case, your book title is, to the customer that is being shown in front of. So Amazon will look at your click-through rate to determine relevance. Does Amazon want to show irrelevant books to people searching for other books? Obviously not. If I'm searching for a dinosaur book, I want to see dinosaur books. And Amazon's going to know if your book is a dinosaur book based on the click-through rate, based on your title. If people search dinosaur book and in your title you have dinosaur book and people are clicking on it, Amazon says, great, this book is actually relevant. That's the only thing Amazon wants to see. So you're crafting your book title in order to be relevant to your customer. You get me? It all depends on your customer. If you're relevant to your customer, you're going to have a high click-through rate anyway. Amazon's going to like your title and you're good to go. You pleased Amazon. You pleased the dad. You pleased your girlfriend's dad. That's great. But now you actually have to please the customer. And how do you do that? Well, there's three things. Well, there's a lot more than three things, but I'm only giving away three on YouTube. So the first thing you need to determine is, what is your book? Like, what actually is your book? So how do you determine what your book is? Well, it's simple. It's just what your book is. I don't know if that makes any sense, but let's say we're selling a dinosaur encyclopedia. Well, guess what our book is? It's a dinosaur encyclopedia. In your case, you're selling a fairy tale. So your book is a fairy tale book. So let's just type in here. I don't know if it is a fairy tale, but let's just pretend. You have a fairy tale book. So it's a story book. That's what your book is. So you need to say what your book is exactly in your title. If you're selling a resistance training book for seniors, then you want to make sure you say resistance training book for seniors. You want to tell someone what your book is. Because the clearer you are on what your book is, then that means customers will understand how relevant it is to them or not. You're only going to get relevant clicks because your title is clear. Only the people that are interested in your book title are actually going to click on your book. Now, once you tell them what your book is, it's important to tell them why to pick your book. Or in other words, you need to tell them the benefits of your book. Now, you're going to say the benefits in your A+ content, and people are probably going to say the benefits in their reviews, and you have your description and everything else, but you want to specify at least one benefit in the book title. Why is that? Because people aren't buying books just for the fun of it. They're buying it because they're exchanging their money for the benefit that the book is going to give them. Now, the good thing is you actually told me your benefit. So you say it helps overcome fear using the EFT method in a very simple and fun way. So that's the benefit. It helps them overcome fear. So we need to write somewhere, overcome fear. And we're going to make a title using these bullet points. And then you also said in a fun way. Now, if you're selling an exercise book and your what is exercise book for seniors, then your why can be lose weight in 20 days or less. Or the ultimate weight loss book. Weight loss is your benefit. If you're selling a how to draw book, which is a what, how to draw, what is it, how to draw, then your benefit or your why can be how to draw in 5 steps or less. That's your benefit. Your benefit is that it's in 5 steps or less. Or the easy how to draw guide. Your benefit is that it's easy. So right now your benefit is overcoming fear. You must include this in your title. You must include the benefit in the title. Now, the final bullet point is who. This is your target audience. If you don't call out your target audience in your subtitle or your book title, I would prefer the subtitle. But if you don't call out your target audience, then no one's going to know who the book is for. They can make assumptions, but if you're making a kid's book and you don't say exactly the type of kid you're targeting, whether that's age or gender, then no one's going to know who the book is actually for. Is it for a 6-year-old or is it for an 8-year-old or is it for a 5-year-old? They can make assumptions, but they're not 100% sure. So there's a higher chance they're going to click on your book and then not actually buy because the title isn't clear enough. Now, in your question, I don't see anywhere about exactly how old your target audience is or who your target audience is. It might be kids in general, but I want to know an age range. So now if we just have these, by the way, there's way more bullet points when it comes to book titles, but I can only give this away on YouTube. If you're part of the program, you know all the bullet points, you know exactly how to make the perfect title for the highest click-through rate possible, which means the highest sales possible. But anyway, if we just focus on these three, then we can come up with a very, very simple title that includes all three of these bullet points. So we can have something like The Secret Garden of Emotions, because that's your actual title. But then your subtitle can include these three. Your subtitle can be A Mystical Adventure on Overcoming Fear using the fun EFT method for girls ages 8 to 10 or whatever your target audience is. This is off the top of my head. I'm not saying go copy this, put it on your book, you're going to make a bunch of money. You can add more words and things, just try and implement these things into your title. So here you can see The Secret Garden of Emotions, that's your title that you gave me. A Mystical Adventure is what the book is. It's a mystical adventure. They know it's a story. On Overcoming Fear, that's your why, that's your benefit. Using the fun EFT method, you can take away fun, you can not use fun if you don't want to. Using the EFT method, that's something special, that's something that's different. You differentiate yourself. That can also be your benefit. And then for girls ages 8 to 10, that's your target audience. So right now, this title, just by reading this title, you know exactly what's inside the book. Now here's one last tip about book titles before I move on to the next question. Now I shouldn't be sharing this tip because it's really, really powerful and I use it for a lot of my books. I really shouldn't be sharing it, but you know what? It's okay. I'll share it with you guys. Here's the thing. I see a lot of really successful publishers doing this as well. And that's using a superlative. What's a superlative? A superlative is the biggest or the strongest or the maximum amount of something of value, let's say. So when I had a chair yoga for seniors book, I titled it, or the subtitle was The Only Chair Yoga seniors for book you will ever need. This is a superlative because it's saying the only one you ever need. That's basically saying you have to pick my book. No one else's book can compare to my one. With the other ones, you're probably going to be missing out on some information. With my one, I have everything you need inside this book. So I'm subconsciously giving them the impression that my book is the most valuable using the superlative technique. And a bunch of books do this. If you go online, type in baby book, look at the top selling one. It's called the simplest baby book. Why is it called this? Because it's basically saying people that just have a baby and they want to buy a baby book, do you think they want it to be simple? Of course they do. No one wants to overcomplicate things, especially when it comes to babies. I don't have a baby. I don't have any daughters or sons or anything, so I have no idea how to raise children, but I'm guessing it's hard. So if I make the mistake and I go out with a girl and I don't protect myself, and then 9 months later a baby pops out and I need to go buy a book to figure out how to raise this baby, guess which one I'm buying? I'm buying the simplest one because I'm dumb, I don't know anything about babies, and I just want the easiest, simplest one. If I see a book title called The Simplest Baby Book, guess what? I'm buying this straight away. I'm never even considering all the other ones. Why? Because they used a superlative in their book title. That gets them to stand out, but not only stand out, it makes your competition look weak. So it amplifies your book's value, even if it's the same information. It's just tightening it this way, amplifies your book's value, and then lowers your competition's value. But use this with care, please. I don't want to go on KDP and see everyone using this title if you have a bad book. Make a really, really good book first. And if your title is the simplest, actually make it the simplest. My one, the only Share Yoga book you will ever need, I actually had all the exercises that you need. You didn't need any more exercises. It targeted all the areas of your body, the correct areas, and it had all the exercises you actually needed. That book did very, very well. Not just because of the title, but because the title actually matched with the interior and the quality and the information inside the book. So I hope that actually helps you make a better title.